So if anybody wants to sit over there, it sounds just as good, it looks just as good, and it makes all our friends out in social media world feel accepted.
Yeah. Shabbat shalom. Hey, has everyone recovered fully from Thanksgiving now that we're a week past? Are you really ready for this winter? Who here, what was it Thursday? Thursday morning. I know, I was talking to the rabbi who's over at Temple Besedek, Moshe Silvershine. He's a wonderful rabbi, and he's here for about 10 months this year. But he's lived in Jerusalem for about 40 years, since about 1983. And actually, to come here to Buffalo, he had to invest in all new clothing, because Jerusalem, it actually surprisingly does get cold. It's kind of similar to Philadelphia, where I'm from, because it's a little bit warmer than that, but it's still in the mountains, and they don't have great heating in a lot of the apartment buildings. I was just telling my kids how I didn't have a dryer, and we had to hang the clothes up, and it never dried. We had cement buildings, and it could get pretty bitter there. But in general, it's not like Buffalo. Cold weather in Jerusalem is in the 40s or 50s usually. And it does snow. Yes, Barry? Why don't they have good heat? Because it's built, there's a lot of sand in Israel. So they use the construction of sand, and they kind of build everything, whether it's on Tel Aviv and the coast or Jerusalem, all the buildings were kind of built with these cinder blocks and these with the cement, and they're very poor insulation. So I think it has to do with wood as a commodity there. It's much easier to build with sand in the desert, in that kind of region. It was a socialist country, and they built kind of also like a lot of that world. There's a segment of architecture, I can't remember it, that was very minimalist, and that's what Israel architecture was for a very long time. It's changing a lot. What's that? Is it Bauhaus? Bauhaus. It's called Bauhaus. Yeah, and they also build in Jerusalem's the same way. Even though Tel Aviv is a beach city and much warmer than Jerusalem, it's only an hour apart, and they have very similar architecture. But anyways, he had invested all this, and he says, I know it's going to be a warm winter. Why? Because I bought all this clothing. So on Thursday morning, he was telling me on Wednesday night, and Thursday morning, I come out, and it's like whiteout conditions, and you're like, winter is really here now. And so I texted him. I said, this is winter in Buffalo. But then it cleared up, and it was actually a pretty nice day in the afternoon. So let's take a nice deep breath and arrive here in the room, in the sanctuary. A little oasis from the rest of the world. Well, Sheridan Drive's not too far away from us. You can sort of hear it a little bit. We shut all that out when we come in the sanctuary. This is a place where time stops to some extent, so we can be together and enjoy things like we always have, being together as community and singing the songs of our ancestors. What a beautiful thing. So we look around and we appreciate the people that are here, and it's wonderful to be together. So we're going to welcome in the special angels of Shabbat. We're going to be thinking about angels this Shabbat because it's the Shabbat of Jacob's Ladder, Vayetze, that we'll be reading a little bit of later, and I'll be telling you about Jewish versions of angels. But we sing to angels every Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem, not every Shabbat here, but that's the traditional motif. It's on page 203 in our prayer book. And this song is actually from a rabbinic tradition that before Shabbat, there are two angels that sit on our shoulders, the bad angel and the good angel. And the bad angel, if everything is set and you're here for Shabbat and you're ready, then the bad angel has to say to the good angel, may it be so next week. And if the opposite is true, your life is hectic and you don't have a place of rest, then the good angel has to say to the bad angel, may it be so next week. And it's kind of a little bit about how hard it is to change the patterns of our life, but it's also this kind of sweet tale that's in Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, we welcome the good angel in to make sure that our Shabbat is a wonderful Shabbat. So page 203.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShomet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Barchuni b'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Bimelech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitechem l'shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei
had the pause in that perfect moment before Seitchem. So on Shalom Aleichem, we welcome the angels, we bless them, we invite them in, and we also say goodbye to them, and we're symbolically going through the day of Shabbat. I love how you paused right before we said goodbye, because we don't really want to say goodbye to them. It was kind of like this moment, no, I don't want to say goodbye, like when you have family over and you just love our good friends, and you just have them there, and you don't want to say goodbye to them. All right, so we're going to turn to the blessings of Shabbat to welcome Shabbat with candle lighting on page 25. We have many angels, people I consider angels here. One of them had his birthday this week. So we have Harvey Horowitz, who works here as well as our teacher. Not just students, a teacher in our community, a Rav, I would say, and also does so many little things for us. And I invited him to do Kiddush, but why don't you light candles too, if it's okay? Myra, it's up to you. If you want to come, you can come. If you could sit back. Yeah, understood.
Is it actually today?
His birthday was Wednesday.
Yesterday?
Wednesday?
Oh,
Thursday. Oh, it was Thursday. Right. Oh, the snowy
happy
day.
birthday.
This is your first Shabbat of your new birth year, or whatever we call it. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu Blessed are those candles of Shabbat to light our way through Shabbat. And do you want to lift up that cup? We have the Kiddush, the prayer to Sanctify the Day of Shabbat. It's on page 90. And feel free to just listen or to pray along. Amen. Shabbat kodecha v'yava uvratzon inchaltanu. Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim, to life, l'chaim. Thank you for being the poison tester here. I told that joke last week, and we had the biters here, and the kids got a kick out of that one. They did. Well, no, I think yeah, maybe we had them drink. I don't remember who was drinking. Let's turn, and now it's time to welcome in Shabbat officially into the room, page 27 at the bottom, L'chadodi. And we're going to sing the first three verses on 28. And then we turn to the final verse on page 30, that second verse on the page. As we welcome Shabbat officially into the room, we turn towards the doorway over there for that last verse, and we'll rise and turn. And then we bow to Shabbat as it enters, and we wish each other a Shabbat Shalom.
L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamoy v'zachor b'dibor echad, ishriyaru el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemu tiferet, v'letila. L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat likuven elcha, ki mekor haberacha merosh mikeden nisucha sof maaseh b'shabbat tchila. L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech yimelucha, kumitzi mitoch hafecha, rav lach shevet b'yehamecha b'cha, u'yachamol alai kebla. L'chadodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat
one another.
Likrat kala v'neshama nekavela lechatodi likrat kala v'neshama nekavela ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 lechatodi likrat kala v'neshama nekavela lechatodi likrat kala v'neshama nekavela la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la
We
This is
remain
remind-
standing. Well, don't sit down.
Yeah.
As we come back together, page 34, we have our call to prayer, our call of community. And we are one community now. We're all friends, hopefully. Page 34.
La 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 la. Sing with me. La 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la.
Page 36, double high, page 36. Blessed are you, please join. Blessed are you who spins day into dusk. With wisdom watch the dawn gates open. With understanding let time and seasons come and go. With awe perceive the stars in lawful orbit. Morning dawns, evening darkens, darkness and light yielding one to the other, and yet each distinguished and unique. Marvel at life, strive to know its ways. Seek wisdom and truth, the gateways to life's mysteries. Wondrous indeed is the evening twilight. That reminds me, we take for granted the little things, just the turning of the light into darkness. And let's turn to the Shema on page 48.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. You want? Yeah. Lil is going to come and lead us in the V'ahavta, page 49. Would you rather a different prayer book? I think is it easier from this one?
I don't care.
Okay, go for it then.
Oh yay, I'm taller now. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu barim ha'ele asher Elohim misavecha hayom alevavecha Teha Ubeteha Ubeteha Basera Mitateha Ukumeha Utatam Leo Ayadeha Behayu Totafot Beneneha Utatam Anizoteha Ubishareha
Go forward.
Man Tisaru Sistem Nekonusata Titentilashi Vilahan
52.
Ani Adonai Elohim Asher Hotzetiachem Meretz Mizraim Liotnahem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohim.
Shakoach.
What?
That means strength. When someone, I guess there's kind of this understanding when you lead something or do something, it takes your strength. So we ask for your strength to return when you finish. So Yesher Koch, we have the feminine Yesher Kochachai, I think, something like that. Yeah. We're going to continue in our prayer service. Why don't we turn to page 56? Why don't we read together God, the life of nature. Please join me. God is the oneness that spans the fathomless depths of space and the measureless eons of time, binding them together in deed as we do in thought. God is the sameness in the elemental substance of stars and planets, of this our earthly abode, and of all that it holds. God is the unity of all that is, the uniformity of all that moves, the rhythm of all things, and the nature of their interaction. God is the mystery of life, enkindling inert matter with inner drive and purpose. God is the creative flame that transfigures lifeless substance, leaping into ever higher realm of being, brightening into the radiant glow of feeling, till it turns into the white fire of thought. And though no sign of living things breaks the eternal silence of the spheres, we cannot deem this earth, this tiny speck in the infinitude, alone instinct with God. By that token which unites the worlds in bonds of matter, are all the worlds bound in the bond of life. God is in the faith by which we overcome the fear of loneliness, of helplessness, of failure, and of death. God is in the hope which, like a shaft of life, cleaves the dark abysms of sin, of suffering, and of despair. God is in the love which creates, protects, forgives. It is God's Spirit that broods upon the chaos we have wrought, disturbing its static grongs and stirring into life the formless beginnings of a new and better world. Amen. I love that reading. We never do it because it's a little long, but I thought tonight we could do. Page 64, Mi Chamocha, the crossing of the sea, celebrating the joys of life.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'edim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedam hakodesh. Norati lo tosef eleh. Norati lo tosef eleh. Malichutzecha babu fanecha. Ki hayam lifnei Moshe. Seilianu ve'ameru. Seilianu ve'ameru. Adonai lo le'olam va'ed. Adonai lo le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Blessed are you, Redeemer of Israel. Page 67, we read together in English. May we live each day with fullness of mind, that we might lie down in peace and rise up in love. May harmony be our way, and may we be attentive to life's good counsel. May we turn aside our enemies and dispel disease, violence, hunger, and pain. Let us seek shelter in each other's arms, and may mercy and compassion guide our lives. Let us be ever watchful as we come and go, that we might establish peace here, now, and forever. Blessed is the one who guards the peace of Israel and all the world. Vishamru on page 68.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam.
Shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam berit olam.
Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim, et ha'aretz.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam berit olam.
V'yom ha'shvi, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash, Shabbat v'yinafash.
Shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, le'dorotam berit olam. Invite you to rise for our standing prayer, the Amidah. We rise kind of to get our blood flowing, if it's comfortable. It's not comfortable for everyone, but it's a way that Jews have traditionally prayed as a way to kind of allow the Spirit to move through you. And we're going to take time for silent prayer, which starts on 70 and goes all the way through 85. Take time for your own thoughts. You can sway, you can stand still, or you could sit. But take some time really just to think and bless and praise. And whenever you're ready, you may be seated.
Yaseh shalom b'roma. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'alko Yisrael. Imru, Iberu, Amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael. 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 Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, Yaakov Yisrael.
May God grant us peace in our community and in the world. I haven't used this in a while, so we'll see if it works. Is it working? I think so.
But I have to turn, let's see now. Yeah, you should be on.
I think
Yeah,
I hear
you're
it. I
good.
think it's good. Okay. So before we go to the Torah reading, I thought it would be a good idea to go over what we're going to read, which is about angels. And we need to get you prepared so that when we actually do the Torah reading, you're ready for it. So before I explain some things, I think it would be good for all of you guys to have a conversation, not together, but in individual groups. So what I'm going to ask you to do is turn to the person next to you or in front of you, behind you, and just tell them anything you want about what you know about angels. It could be experiences you've had in your own life. It could be what an angel, you think an angel looks like. It could be that you don't believe in angels. But take a couple of minutes and just have a conversation before we even get started on the topic. So go and learn. Go and learn. There you go. I figured I got to use this. We've had it for so long. No, I turned it off. No, I turned it off. Oh, no, I turned it off. I remember those things. It's been so long since we've used it. It's just like, oh, we should start using it again. So what do you think? Angels, they're around. Do you feel to recover from the week? No conversation. All right, so how's everyone doing? Did you solve the question about angels? What do we know about angels? Share a little bit. Anyone who wants to share about your conversation? They live in heaven. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Lil. That's perfect. Any other thoughts? Yes. Messengers, and we're going to talk about that because that's really important in this week's Torah portion, how we think about it. Anything else? Yeah. Angels are girls and devils are boys. And actually, that's wonderful. most of the depictions of angels are masculine, but I think we need a lot more women in there as angels, yeah. And of devils as well. Yes, Charlie. Right, so there aren't many of them, and they're very ephemeral, that they leave right away. Has anyone here ever felt like you had an interaction with an angel? Mhm. Did you want to share? Wow, I'm just going to repeat a little on the microphone so in case people can't hear, like in cyberspace. But, basically, Jennifer had said she sat next to a woman who had given a card, and the card didn't go anywhere. It's as if she was kind of a spirit there for you in that moment. Are there other experiences? So angels are a pretty common motif, and I actually get asked quite a bit, not recently, but quite a bit about what Jews believe. There are certain segments, certain subjects that seem more Christian just because they're in a Christian context often. Heaven and hell and angels in particular, it's because they often get talked about a lot in a Christian context and not as much in a Jewish context. But as with most things, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, we share all these same ideas, maybe a little bit differences, but most of the general ideas are the same in both religions. So I'm going to tell you a fancy word. I was looking it up before services, because this is kind of, in order to understand what angels, the purpose they serve, we have to kind of understand this word, which is about theology. It's a hard word, that's why I had to look it up. It's politicomorphism. Has anyone heard this? Politicomorphism, which means the divinization of earthly politics. So there's an understanding, especially, this is a book, a wonderful book, Riza Aslan, about God and the history of God, but it talks about how we humans often take the system that we have around us and transfer it to the deities. We create the same system in heaven as we have here. And this is really important in understanding why the need for angels, because in most systems where you had a king, the king sent messengers. We have Messenger, that's like an email program. But for the ancients, it was very hard to get around, so often there were different messengers, different servants of the king. And so that is sort of the realm that angels fit into. And actually, Charlie said there aren't too many of them. According to most rabbinic accounts or even biblical accounts, there's a lot of them. Upwards of 600,000 angels, and that was back in the biblical times. God knows how many God needs today with 7 billion people around. So angels, as we're thinking about them in this week's Torah portion, we're going to see the ladder from the heavens, where Jacob falls asleep on the rocks. He's leaving Beersheba. He's going sort of Harna, towards up north towards Jerusalem, Judean hills, and he's really alone and bereft, and he lies down just on the ground. And I've actually slept in that area around the Dead Sea on the earth, and it's not really fun, and it's very barren. And I had groups of friends with me when I did it. He was completely alone. But he manages to get to sleep, and he has this dream about this ladder. And it's a wonderful image because these angels are just going up and down like an escalator. That's kind of how I imagine. There's so many of them that they just keep passing up and down, up and down. And we kind of get a glimpse in that little short vignette behind the scenes of how they thought about God. We get to see kind of what's going on. So if you look in your leaflet, I had Nancy Xerox a little table of angels. There's actually well over 10 different types of angels, which all serve different purposes, and I have a couple of them here. I listed Maimonides and the Zohar, but there are others that have actually a hierarchy of angels. Just like, if you think about this as the heavenly court, of course there's a distinct hierarchy, and that's would have been the society that most of human history has lived under. So you see the various things. The messengers that Adrian is talking about, that we talk about today, are the malachim. Those are the messenger angels that we see here with Jacob and through most of Genesis. But there are a whole bunch of them. This one that's over here, I found this wonderful picture. It's a fire angel. That's the one at the top of Maimonides, these chayot hakodesh, kind of these animals of holiness that are lit on fire. And right below them, you have this very strange one called the Ophanim. And you see these aren't rings. What they are is wheels. And there's wheels with lots of eyes on them. So we think of angels sometimes as, I actually brought an image of that here. Right? We think of these beautiful cherubs, white, flowing, beautiful. They're usually Caucasian, European. But of course, that isn't the image at all of the angels here. You have a larger view for those of you out there. There are so many different types that are kind of made up. They sort of look almost animalistic. The other one that you have there, which is the six-winged one, is the seraphim. And they're the angels of justice. And so they thought of these angels sometimes looking identical as people and sometimes not. There is something, because as we're thinking about how do we think about angels, how do they come into our lives? How do they act? There is a sense from the rabbis that angels and human beings have this kind of envious relationship with one another, each side envying each other. The angels who we aren't in the image of God, according to the rabbis, we're actually in the image of angels. So we look like angels, but we have more permanent fixtures. Angels have to obey whatever God tells them. And once they fulfill their mission, they go right back, start again. Whereas human being, we have free will. So there's this kind of relationship between them. But angels could be anyone among us. The image that I actually like is from science fiction. I had a little bit of time on Netflix. They have one of my favorite movies, which is The Matrix. Does anyone watch The Matrix? This is this wonderful dystopian vision that's from 1999, right before the millennium, of course. If you remember back, those of you that were alive back 1990 to 2000, we kind of believed the world was going to, literally, there was this feeling in New Year's that year that the world would just disappear, all the clocks would stop working, who knows. We weren't even as connected as we are today. But in this dystopian vision, you have artificial intelligence taking over, and all human beings are living like batteries, and we're imagining that we're in the year 1999, even though it's 200 years later, and we're just going about our lives. And they have these agents that will come, and at any time, they can take over any person that's plugged into the system. So there's the scene as Morpheus, one of the main characters, and Neo, the Keanu Reeves character, the hero of the story. They're talking, And Morpheus says, you've got to beware of any human being because these agents with the black glasses and the black suits, they can take over at any time. Now, this is a horrific version because these are like demons. But what an amazing way to think about. Maybe that's how angels operate. They come into people for temporary pieces of time, act in their way, and then go back to God. Maybe that's kind of how it is. So we don't know. It's kind of this vision of a world that we don't have. We don't have these courts, kingly courts often in this world. But as we're thinking about these angels, I think they still tap this deep need that we have as human beings to connect to God in some way. We want the divine to be around us. We want to feel that there's a connection. The last thing I'll say is this understanding of Elijah that is sort of like an angel as well. Elijah is the prophet that is the harbinger of the Messianic era. And the understanding is that when we see Elijah, and we have it in a lot of different Jewish events, from Havdalah to Passover, if Elijah comes, the Messiah will be there. That'll be the sign that the Messiah is there. But Elijah doesn't look like any individual. He could look like anyone. He could come out of anywhere. And so the purpose of that is, just like with the angels, we should treat everyone as if it's Elijah. Because if we do that, then maybe the Messiah will come. It'll kind of it'll be this self-perpetuating thing. So I think we should believe in angels, just so we treat each other a little bit better, and that we also have that little hint that there's of the possibility of what's there in life. So we're going to go and look now in the actual text. We're going to turn back to our prayer books, to the Torah service. Which is, this is a Friday and Saturday book, and so we turn, the Torah service is on page 176, and I'll invite everyone to rise. Lil, if you'd like, you could help us open the Ark again. Would you like to do that? Up to you. We rise as the Ark is opened.
ya ba 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 ba, ya ba ba ba, ya ba 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 ba, ya ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, ya ba ba.
We're on page, oh, you need to look in your seats in front of you, except for the front row. I was very impressed that we had 4 participants in our front row lottery. Apparently Cantoring card.
Sorry.
Very glad. So page 106 is the seats in front of you. In the Torah, it's on in the scroll. So I'd like to encourage anyone who feels touched by angels, feels connected to angels. This is your chance to kind of see it in the text itself. So anyone who would like, come on up. Not all at once. Anyone who wants to be visited by an angel. Come on. Yeah, come on. Anyone who thinks they're an angel. Amen. Amen. Vayetze Yaakov miber Shava, vayelech Arna, vayikra b'makom, vayelem sham, kiva hashemesh v'yichak mevnei hamakom, vayesem merushotav, vayishchav b'makom hahu, v'yachalom b'tinei sulam, mutzav artza v'rosho migia hashamayma, v'hinei malchei Elohim olim v'yordim bo. The angels go up and down the ladder. we're thinking about Nicholas Carosella, Kathy and Chris Crawford, Bobby DeBruin, Roxanne Cohn, Gail Lewis, Cindy Lieber, Carol Silverman, and Flora Snee. We'll go around if you have other people that you're thinking about.
Billy Moore, John Wilson.
Kathy Pace, Sheila Chato, Ruth Hannah, Chicago.
We take all those names into our heart. Again, page 181, as we sing and send blessings to them. 185, you said, sorry. 185.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu bekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. And we're going to turn to putting the Torah back in the ark with It's a Tree of Life. So let's rise as we put the Torah back in the ark. And I'm going to ask the front row to come help open the ark.
It is the tree
of life.
to those who rest in all its supporters are happy. It is the tree of rest in all its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom,
And we remain standing for Aleinu, page 190. It's not enough just to pray. We need to go out and do good deeds in this world. In the on the next page. turn to the Mourner's Kaddish, page 194. We see the lights lit around our room that are the lights of our ancestors beckoning us, our loved ones. We did have a number of losses in our community. Many of you remember Cantor Sharon Colberts. Her sister had been ill for quite a bit. She actually had visited our community for her goodbye concert, I believe, a couple of years back. Her name is Sandra Larkey Cloman. She was very nice. I was glad to know her, and it's very sad. I know she had a number of health problems over the years, but fairly young person, and very sad to hear that. I also learned of the passing of Jeanette Schoenfeld's brother-in-law, Donald Kirsch. He was in Toronto, the brother of her sister, and it's also very sad because her sister is in very poor health and dementia and wasn't able to be at the funeral either. So we're sending our thoughts to Barry and to Jeanette. And we're also remembering on our Shloshim list Carolee Arbat, Sheldon Benetovich, Hinda Birdman, Barbara Gardone, Galina Grinman, Dr. Leonard Horowitz, and Norman Rosenthal. May their memories be for a blessing, and may comfort go out to their families. On our yard site list from years past, we remember Esther Atlas, Ralph Atlas, Laya Berdachowski, Shifra Berdachowski, Harry Bernhardt, Sidney Berzone, William Brogadier, Harry Cantor, Meyer Cantor, Jacob Chazen, Keith Crandall, Monroe D. Idelman, Marge Feldman, Isidore Friedman, Lucille Friedman, Nathan Galinsky, Ann Gallen, Louis Leonard Glick, Harold J. Goldstein, Ethel Grant, Irving Haber, Emma Harrison, George Iggers, Rebecca Jacobs, Edmund Karnofsky, Beatrice Kramer, Robin Lee Metz, Howard Mitofsky, Gertrude Middleman, Sura Genya Modick, Susan Rafferty, Dr. Alexander Richmond, Rose L. Rosengarten, Maurice Shinman, David Schulafand, Lillian Schwartz, Joseph Simon, Milton Slutsky, Leonard Snyder, Fran Stern, Ethel Tanskill, and Murray Wolf. We'll go around. If there's others, just raise your hand if you'd like to say anyone. All those whose custom it is to rise, page 194. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach kirete v'yamlik malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayed echol beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'yamaru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah barach le'olam olmeo maya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shmei kudusha, b'rechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata. Damiran bi'alma v'yimaru, amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramah. Huya seh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru, amen. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens send peace for us and for all Israel and for all the world, and we say amen. You may be seated. Zikranam livracha, may their memories continue to be a blessing for us and for generations to come. I'd like to invite up Joanne Markesy, our executive director, to offer the announcements. And I think as she's coming up, we have an important thing coming up next weekend, next Saturday night. Is there anything happening yet? See, where did I put the announcements? That would be good. She makes up. There we go.
Shabbat Shalom. We would like to wish a very special Mazel Tov to Rabbi Alex on receiving the Judith and Daniel Cantor Professional Service Award. He received it on Wednesday evening at the Buffalo Jewish Federation's annual meeting, and we are so very proud of you. Very special thank you to Rabbi Alex Cantor-Frank and Paul Staley for a lovely service in honor of Shabbat. There'll be Torah study tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., followed by the Shabbat morning service at 11 a.m., and both events will be at Canterbury Woods. And bingo is back on Monday. Doors open at 6:30, bingo begins at 7:30, and Queen of Hearts is over $4,000. Please join us next Friday for Erev Shabbat services at 7 p.m. And on Sunday, our annual Hanukkah story time that we have each year at Barnes & Noble on Niagara Falls Boulevard will begin at 1. Please bring friends, family, children. Rabbi Cantor and I will be there, and we'll be singing and reading stories and shopping and having a lot of fun. And if you do some shopping, we do have a voucher that if you use that, the temple receives a percentage of the sale, so we appreciate that. And we're also very grateful to have a couple of volunteers who will be providing complimentary gift wrap on Sunday from 1 to 5. Next Saturday, we've been talking about this for a very long time, and we're very excited, is our Hanukkah Nights concert, featuring Cantor Frank and guest musicians from the newly released Hanukkah Nights album. Complimentary CDs for the Hanukkah concert are available through the generosity of Edward and Deborah Fine. And the Oneg Shabbat will be co-sponsored by the Buffalo Jewish Federation and its Synagogue Council of Presidents and Donna and Maury Horowitz. So please join us. Our annual Chinese dinner returns on Wednesday, December 25th at 6, and it's during Hanukkah, so we can celebrate Hanukkah as well. Bring your family and friends. The form is outside the sanctuary if you're interested. And we also have another Hanukkah event on Friday, December 27th, our Hanukkah Happening, and it will include a Frozen 2 theme. We'll begin at 6 with a latke bar and communal lighting of our menorahs, so please bring yours. And we will use our Mishkan Tefillah for Youth Prayer Book, which is a very beautiful prayer book, and we're going to have our first ever dreidel tournament, so bring your favorite dreidel. It'll be a lot of fun. And we want to wish you all Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to thank Marcia Bucci and Mark Neitinger for being our service greeters this evening, and Julia Cohan from the Women of Shir Shalom for helping with our oneg. Please join us in the social hall after the service. Shabbat Shalom.
So a couple other announcements. First of all, on Sunday, I'll be talking more about angels. If you want to come down to the Episcopal Cathedral downtown, I have a 9:15 class apparently scheduled. That's how the topic came out. They didn't even know this was the week that we think about angels. And then I'll be there for their service. Wonderful, sweet community down there. So if you're interested, come and join. Also on Tuesday night, you might remember before Thanksgiving, Bill Hennessy from North Presbyterian and I talked about what our religion has to say about being American. We're going to have a continued dialogue about that. So if you're interested in the topic, I thought it was kind of a meaningful topic, especially today, to kind of hear about how our faith influenced America and how America influenced us as well. So that'll be Tuesday night here at 7 o'clock. And then I know that we have another Purim Megillah starting, getting tuned up. If you're interested, it's really a chance for adults and children, if they want, to be part of a kind of a silly presentation of the Purim Esther story. And this year it's going to be the music from ABBA, which is really quite exciting. I think I said everyone loves ABBA, but apparently not everyone does. But it's quite beloved. I think their first rehearsal is going to be like the Sunday towards the end of
the
29th, towards the end of December. And we are going to need people that were in the Frozen Purim musical a number of years ago, because we'd like to bring back one of the renditions for that Frozen Hanukkah. And it works perfectly still, the one Let It Go song. So if you were part of it, please come. We need your voices for the Hanukkah night as well. I was just showing Cantor the script. We found that out. All right.
I have to read it closely now.
But please come out on Saturday night. That's the key thing. It's going to be amazing. 7:30 next Saturday. We already got our babysitter. Oh no, we still need to line one up. But we'll get one. We'll get one pretty soon. And come out. It's going to be super exciting. And we are giving away CDs for the first. I don't know. We have enough for how many people? One per family. Okay, so let's conclude our service. Page 201. Adon Olam.
Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'ed nasa v'chefso kol asai melech shemo nikra asai melech shemo nikra yacharei kiklot hakol levado yimlo no nora vehu haya vehu hoveh vehu yeh v'tifara vehu yeh v'tifara vehu echad v'yein sheni lecham shilo lehavira b'li reshit b'li tachlit elo ha'oz ha'misra elo ha'oz ha'misra vehu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzor kevli v'yitzara vehu nisi umanos li menat kosi b'yom ekra menat kosi b'yom ekra b'yado afkid ruchi b'hetishad b'yahira b'im ruchi g'viati Adonai li lo ira Adonai li lo ira. Chala Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. As you came in peace, may you leave in peace, and please return your prayer books minus the leaflet to the front of the sanctuary. Shabbat Shalom. Yom Zeh Yisrael